What have you just done?
Bastard.
Shit. Don't break anything else.
Spring is literally 12 weeks away, and somehow I've got to do all this, get it back in the bike, figure out how to rewire it all, get it painted, get new tyres, get it MOT'd. In 12 weeks time. Welcome back to the channel. I have made another gamble and bought myself a second-hand replacement Franc speed triple engine. It's got about 19,387 miles on it. There's a few things we need to do to the engine. It's got paint peel around the front here, which is just a sign of age. So I'm going to sand that back, get some spray paint on it. The oil breather case has been cracked from where the bike's been dropped and potentially in that accident that is recorded on its history. I'm going to change the gasket. So I'm going to do a cam cover gasket. I'm going to change the water pump and of course the alternator. The starter motor as well will need a new O-ring. The gear shaft selector pin has snapped off. About that much of the end of the pin is snapped off. There'd be a sort of recess in the pin that this would slide onto and then you'd screw it in. Because that snapped off on this when the bike's been dropped, we've got to then take the whole shaft out of the gearbox. We've got to do that 2 times because we're going to do it on the old engine and then do it on this one. If I was Matt Armstrong, I'd do this in a day, but I ain't got a day spare because I don't earn millions of pounds from YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Otherwise, I can't do this as a day job. Engine split time to get the gear shaft selector out. So what we're going to do is we're going to split the lower crankcase, which we've done on the other engine already, and take the shaft from that engine, put it in this one. So we're going to start by taking the clutch covers off and then splitting the engine.
So this is where I mess things up a bit, and as I'm moving the engine onto the other side, I drop it.
What have you just done?
The
What?
no.
What? That don't sound good. What we done? What we done?
Dropped the sump fell off because I forgot that it wasn't on properly, and I just dropped this on this thing.
Is that broken then, or?
I don't know. That came out of it. Bastard. Shit.
Is that the oil pickup?
It must be, yeah. How does it come off?
As long as it's not cast. If it's cast, then that's game over. Oh, it just pulled off?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're fine then. It looks plastic.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we'll just take it from the other one. Yeah, no big deal. Don't break anything else.
Expensive learning.
Yeah.
So despite having already replaced the gasket on the breather cover, I'm removing it again, and it will now need a new mandrel seal, which is a bit of a pain to fit. Now it's a case of working through the different upper crankcase bolts using a combination of a T30 and T40 bit for the different 6mm and 8mm bolts. There is a specific order in which these bolts need to be removed, and we're following the sequence and placing the bolts in a cardboard template for later. As I'm completely removing the clutch cover, a replacement gasket will be needed. Once the clutch cover is removed, you also need to remove the bolts that hold the crankshaft position sensor in place. You can't separate the engine without doing this. This wasn't in the manual. Thanks, Triumph. Once we turn the engine upside down, we can begin loosening the lower crankcase bolts following the same predefined sequence. Once all bolts are removed, we're gently tapping the casings with a rubber mallet to separate them. You mustn't lever the two apart as you could damage the mating surfaces, and it prevents them from sealing when you put it back together.
We've got the lower crankcase off, as you can see. We're going to now swap the gear shaft selector over, hopefully.
She's out.
You loosened her up?
Yeah, of course I have. Yeah. Thankfully, as I said, this one wasn't as chewed up, so I think you...
Did a good job.
Yeah, you made the right call to stop when you did. It's out. It's out. There we go.
You don't have to worry about dropping it.
No, exactly. Yeah, right. So yeah, it was a bit mashed up.
Strong lad.
Yeah, it's out.
So the next.
So the next thing. Now we got to remove this now, which is actually just going to fall out because it's nice and loose. So yeah, so I move this out of the way. There you go. So there's your retaining piece from the gear selector drum. And then that gives it, you can, if you want, that now gives us the clearance here, just on the top to push this. So this pawl arm now has the clearance to come forward, which I have just done now. So we can now slide this out of the way.
Why was that so easy on this one and the other one that we did it?
Because I did it. So there, and now we'll just slide out. Oh no, you'll have to tap this out because the tappy tap tap. Because the flip it that way. Yeah, But you've got to be careful because the bearing's serrated as well. That's teeth in there. So we've got to line up the other one correctly, which is fine. It just means you have to push it in from the bottom and just give it a wiggle until the teeth engage. That's it.
So that has to line up with that.
Correct.
The old piece and the old gear shaft selector, which was snapped on the end here. Dan the man has successfully removed that. Now we can put the old one, the replacement in, and the lower crankcase back on the upper crankcase. Spray in a roll.
Yeah, so that's just machined to a different tolerance, that's all. So
you need to have equal number of teeth either side.
yeah, but that's relative to the drum position, isn't it? So, okay, let's go try that. That's fine, just try that there. So in the right position, count the teeth. So you've got one tooth there, one tooth there, one tooth there, one tooth there, plus the middle one. It's in the right position.
You sure?
100%, promise you. Look. So if you look at that at the minute.
I'm going to get the book. It's a tooth on the spool carrier locates between the third and fourth teeth.
Words.
Yep. I'm the engineer, so
Yeah.
so you heard it here first. I'm the engineer. So if this fucks up, it's my fault.
Two right and all. Damn
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Damn right.
No, I'm confident in my engineering ability.
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
The world's most expensive
Bolts.
bolts at £5 a pop.
So if you
Thank you very much, Triumph, for making our lives so difficult. Blue skies this morning, it's getting grey now. But in that time, we've managed to swap over the gear shaft selector, which is a real achievement because it's a fucking pain in the arse to get those bolts out. So the retaining clip's in place. The next steps are to fit the spring and a few other washers and circlips and stuff like that. And then we can put this lower crankcase back on the upper body. Cleaned up the surfaces, the mating surfaces, to put the lower crankcase back on the upper section of the engine. The gear selector shaft's in place. So now we're going to seal the two sections together with, what is it called?
3-bond.
So there's no gasket required, it's a liquid gasket. And then we'll torque up all the bolts in the correct order. The shell bearings are all there, yeah?
Shell bearings are all there, correct. It's the gear selectors now, because you might have to fiddle a bit with the gears to get them in place properly. So, no. Oh, stop it, not hitting that one. It's slightly out of place. Yeah, probably because you moved the gear pedal. There you go. That's it. So that one there has to go there on that. I can see it from the back here.
So at this point we're trying to line up the gear selector arms with the gear cogs. It was a pain to see. We tapped the lower case on, ready to start reinstalling the bolts.
What are we doing?
We're
talking up the
we're
bolts.
talking up the crankcase bolts.
Yeah,
is what we're doing.
in a specific order, according to engineers at Triumph who like to make your life hard. Starting with a particular bolt, which I'm not sure about which one it is.
Bolt number 1
Bolt number 1
would be the starting
bolt
point.
number 1.
Read.
Here we go. This one is that one in there.
Yeah, so that was 15 on the removal. Am I right? Let's have a-
Very careful with this again.
well, that says 20. That's a lot of bolts. Is it 20? Numero 1, according to this, is...
Is he going to go in there?
and why is it looking at me? Oh, stay at school, kids. That's it. Yeah.
Pinch you there.
You just pinch them in a bit. Yeah. Hey, whatever you do, don't drop that bit in there.
Yep. Thanks, Dan. So we've had a series of unfortunate events that I haven't recorded because of the drama and tears that have been shed. And that includes dropping a washer, this little washer here, little bastard, dropped him right into the gearbox and he landed in a really awkward place. We managed to fish it out. And then after that, the next thing was we torqued up the oil banjo bolts to the wrong spec and it snapped, but we managed to get it out. So the Triumph gods are telling us to stop. So what we're doing now is we're just tightening up the crankcase to make sure that everything's tightened to spec. And then we're going to come back another day because we're fucking bored now. So what we're on 3.
On 3.
3. That number 10. Yeah.
For those of you that are unsure, we've just said number 3 and pulled out number 10. So this is the order in which we removed them. And then we labelled them up according to their position relative to the bottom half of the crankcase. However, there's a sequence, as right here. There is a different sequence in which we have to tighten them up. So it becomes a case of cross-referencing the starting position for number 1, as an example, with its relative position in which we ordered them. So that's why there is a mismatch in numbers.
So as you can see, I'm replacing the oil breather cover. This was broken on the replacement engine, so I'm swapping it over from the old one. As you can see, it comes off quite harsh. The seal replacement kit for this part alone was over £40, so you can imagine I was pretty upset when I had to pay that amount out. And here I am replacing the mandrel seal, which is a key element of this piece. So now I'm changing the cam cover gasket, so I'll tap it to release it with a rubber mallet. I'll then inspect the gasket and the edges and the surfaces, cleaning up the cam lobes with a Scotch-Brite pad and some WD-40 just to get rid of some of that grubbiness. I'll also clean the edges up ready for the new gasket. Once that's done, I'll turn my attention to the cam cover itself, removing the old gasket and then cleaning up in the same way as before. I'll then fit the new gasket and then apply some clear sealant to those semicircle inlays, offering up the cam cover and torquing it to spec using a torque wrench.
Right guys, so it might not seem like it, but we've made some serious progress. So we've got the engine ready to go back in the frame. We fitted new O-rings to the alternator starter motor to get those back in. So as you can see there, this guy's back in. The starter motor is back in, but I've snapped that bolt, so I need to replace that. We've put mandrel in the breather case here. We've put the case back on and tightened it to the torque spec. As you can see, the shaft is back on. So really, this guy needs to go in there. But I need 2 people to do that. So from there, we can start reattaching all the wiring. We can start attaching the throttle bodies. We can put all of the hoses back on. We can also fit a new chain and sprocket set. I'll also be putting obviously new oil in it and filter. Got to put some fuel in the bike as well and change a few seals on the fuel pump. And then we can send off the fairing for painting. And so in the next video, we'll be starting the bike for the first time with the replacement engine. So it's going to be a big moment, and hopefully you will come back to watch that with me, because fingers crossed, it means that we can start riding this bike in the spring, and I'll be sharing a lot of on the road footage. Stay tuned and we can do that together. Thanks.